us are parents, and boy, kids are sure grounding, aren't they?
Yeah.
And the times that I've been maybe lamenting my career, just going like, oh, what's going on, and how our industry is a mess, and is it ever going to be the same? And, I've left London, which I love. But I have these 3 beautiful kids, and that is truly what matters to me the most. So how lucky am I to be with them and that they're healthy and everything? So it's counting your blessings, and maybe it is taking a sheet of all these cliches, but really going, they're true. They're true. Count your blessings, live in the moment, have a grateful heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd say to anyone listening, because this has been a big learning curve for me this year, that if anyone is feeling anxious at this time of year, some people are going back into lockdown. Some people are worried about their jobs and what's going to happen. And the thing about anxiety is you can't control it. The thoughts you have at the time, they feel really, very, very, very real. The thoughts are real, okay? But it doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. They're just thoughts. They are fallacies, not prophecies. So get out of your head and just know that as long as everything is uncertain, that means it has infinite possibilities. So there's no point worrying about the future, because what's going to happen is going to happen. But you can actually be excited about the possibilities. Just remember that as long as everything is uncertain, it means there are infinite possibilities that can happen. You're in control of your own life. Just try and stay in the moment and try not to listen to those thoughts, because they're not true. It's just your brain.
So one thing in the DMs that we got a lot of is questions about us and never before heard stories between Clive and me. So we thought that for the Christmas special, we would take some of your DM questions and answer them for real in real life time right now. We have a lot, actually, so it's going to be more than one episode, but should we start with a couple now?
Yeah, hit me.
So I know that you have a Christmas story to relay. I actually, this is the God's honest truth, don't know what it is. So I'm going to be hearing it for the first time, but I actually want to, what's your Christmas story on set? When you were filming?
I just remember Christmas in Dublin being so special. The first 2 seasons, we didn't do as many episodes. So we always finished around November time, and we'd have a wrap party, and it would be, slightly chilly around Dublin. But then when we went to season 3 onwards, we were filming 20 episodes. So we would film right the way through the Christmas break. I remember that we had a lot of us used to stay in Dalkey, which is about 25 minutes outside of Dublin. And there was a couple of bars that we would frequent quite a lot. I just remember it snowed. We were on set and we were filming in the snow, and it just didn't stop, and it came down, and it was one of the last days on set. It felt like rapping on a white Christmas. And we went to the bar, and I remember people were driving. This is typical Ireland. People are driving up the road in Dalkey, and there was this one guy who was like slightly just kissing the cars on either side of the road because the icy black ice on the road, and eventually just gave up and just dropped his car in the middle of the road. It's like a one-way street because there's cars parked on either way. There's only enough room for one car. Just stopped it in the middle of the road, got out, boop, boop, and just went into the pub. And everyone did the same thing. Everyone just started parking in the roads. It was just chaos. I have no idea how they got home. Hopefully they didn't drive anyway, so they're probably there in the morning, covered in snow. But it was crazy.
God.
I mean, we have so many crazy stories, and there's nothing better than being in Dublin in the winter time and sitting in one of those bars with the log fire and people coming in with their instruments and just playing some of the old Irish songs, the Wild Rover and the Rocky Road to Dublin and all that kind of stuff, playing in the background with a pint of Guinness in your hand.
Yeah, I miss Ireland. I had so many pinch me moments there, and I'd traveled there before as a tourist, or I had gone there with a ballet company before, but there was something about really integrating there because we were there for so long, and we had so many Irish friends in the crew and production, so we were kind of embraced, weren't we, into the community there, and it was just like, oh man, it's just beautiful. I miss it dearly.
And we did have an amazing Christmas party. I remember I remember Gustav turning up with these crazy reindeer glasses on, and we were all dancing, and we were doing the dirty dancing lift on Alyssa. It was pretty crazy. We had pretty intense parties. We partied like Vikings on set and off set.
Yes. And it was always interesting to walk into, because most people in the area knew about Vikings, especially a couple of seasons on, but we would sort of walk in en masse to a bar or something. And all of you guys are so gigantic anyway, 6 foot, who knows what. But to kind of walk in and there was like very clearly the Vikings cast.
I remember in season when I became the Duke of Normandy, I did a film in between Vikings, and I had to shave my head. So in season 1 to 3, it's all my own hair with some hair extensions, a big long hair. But then I had to wear a wig when I was, Duke Rollo, which kind of made sense because it's a completely different haircut anyway, and it worked. But I remember it was weird when we went out to the bar at Christmas time, and it was around Christmas time. So there would be like Travis, Gustav, Alex, and they all got their long hair and things, and they're all so recognizable. And I'd be there with my beard, but with really short hair. And I remember this one time I was in the bar, and this guy comes over. He's like, sorry, guys, are you the Vikings? And they're like, yeah. Oh, I love this show, and it's great. And they're like, oh, it is. It's Bjorn. Oh, it's Travis. It's Ragnar. And they're like, where's Rollo? We hate that. CUNT. And I'm standing there. They're all pointing at me, and they're like, that's not Rollo. I'm like, I'm a stunt double. Yeah, he doesn't come out. He is a CUNT. He doesn't bother hanging out with anyone. So I mean, they prefer to hang out with me, the stunt double. Clive Standen.
Yes. Standen. Is it weird for you? I mean, you've been an actor for a long time now, and I have 2 questions for you. What's the experience been like for you as your fame has grown? I mean, you're recognizable. You've been the lead of several very big shows. Is it, because I don't think a lot of people ever get that experience of having people recognize you on the street? And then also, how do you deal with people who seem to think that Clive is Rollo? So any transgressions that Rollo has had, they think that Clive is that person. How do you deal with that?
Everyone's been really nice. I mean, on Instagram, people are always like traitor, but it's still just a bit of fun. I did have, where was I filming? I was in Toronto filming Taken. And I used to walk down this one road, and there would be people that worked in this office building. They wave at me and they know it was me. And I remember the first time I went by, they're like, that's Rollo. And then one day I went by, it was really sweet. They had because it was like the second floor of these offices, and they had these windows that you could see. And I remember walking by one day, and they'd put up in the window, hey, Rollo, you traitor. And in these massive banners. So that was there for like 3 weeks every time I walked past it. And it was, so it's all a bit of fun. So no one, I mean, I thrive off of it at the moment. I mean, going to these Comic Cons and getting to share the stories with the fans is really quite special, more so than ever now in the lockdown, because I've really missed being around people. We went to German Comic Con, and the first thing we did when we were in the line to meet the fans is take down these plastic visors they put in the way, throw them down. I'm like, I need human contact. I want to hug the fans, talk to the fans, be around people. I needed it. I mean, I said to them, it felt like I topped my happiness bank up being there. So it's not just, the fans getting to meet the actors. I thrive off of it. It's been really special. I mean, it's to be in a show that I would watch even if I wasn't in it. I mean, I am a Vikings geek, so it's great. And, everything I've done so far, I mean, I've done a lot of American accents. There's always people at the bottom of the comments, the American accent's not very good, whatever it is. There's always one. And that obviously stays with you rather than the 50 people that say something nice about you. But that's what I've learned to do. And I tell my kids this as well. You cannot respond to that one troll, because that's what they want. You don't get it. We got so many fans, sometimes you don't have time to respond to the nice stuff. So why should you respond to the awful stuff? Because that's why it's there.
Yeah. You're right. It's a weird thing, isn't it? Because for suddenly so many people who you don't know to have a really strong opinion about you, and not only that, to post it publicly. Yeah. It's very
did Christian Bale say once, he was like, hey, if you've got a problem with me, call me. If you don't have my number, then you don't know me well enough and you don't know who I am. So God, fuck, leave me alone.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. But I am guilty of where I've done that thing where I've really loved a show and I've got really invested in it. And then I did this with, I can't remember her name now. She's a lovely gal. She was on Game of Thrones, and she played, she played one of the characters. I can't remember, but I loved her. I thought she was great. And I went to an audition, and she was in the waiting room. And of course I walked in and I was like, oh my gosh, hi, how are you? Thinking that I knew her. And I was like, no, I don't know her. I watch her on the TV. So she doesn't know who I am. She was very nice. One thing that I wanted to say to all of our lovely listeners, Clive, you and I both wanted to say that you guys are so amazing in the DMs, hitting us up in the DMs. There's so many, in fact, that we just wanted to say that we do see them. We see them. We love them because we love getting your feedback. And we have lots of plans to record them and do shout outs. It's just a lot, which is amazing. Aren't we blessed? But we do see them and we love you for it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're building the content. We're taking all of your ideas, all of your suggestions down, because this is just in the birthing stage of Vikcast. So we're concentrating on getting the castmates on and interviewed, but we're also trying to think about new segments all the time. And we've got some great ideas from you guys. So watch this space.
And as you know, birthing is complicated and sometimes painful, but no, it's been pretty lovely. But yeah, we're just like, we wish we had 100 more brains and hands and thumbs to type with, but thank you so much.
Talking about birthing, I wanted to ask you a question. I've always thought about this. How was it to be on the set of Vikings and being pregnant? Because I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but Amy was pregnant with twins while she was filming some of the episodes of Vikings, and she had a really intense battle scene to do in a tower with Mo Dumford's character, Athelwolf. Can you tell us a little bit about it, Amy, and what it was like to actually kind of, the story about how you kind of found out that you had twins while you were filming, but how strenuous it was, kind of, because our show it's pretty intense at times.
Oh gosh, yeah. I remember when I found out that I was going to be pregnant. I knew I was going to be shooting while I was pregnant. And I was kind of trying to find a way to tell our producers and tell Michael, who writes the show. And then I found out it was twins, and I was like, oh, damn. Ooh. So I called Michael. I remember I was in London. I was in Soho, and I kind of tucked away into a busy little thing and alcove. And I said, oh, Michael. And he was so lovely. He immediately replied, congratulations. And I said, and I'm going to be pregnant with twins. And he said, I just wrote you a big fight scene. Like, I just wrote it. Like, what are we going to do? But we worked it out. And with the timing of they had to rejig my schedule a lot, because I think that they had wanted to shoot it a lot later in the season, but we had to bump it up. But the farthest that they could bump it up, I was 6 months, like fully 6 months pregnant with twins, which is big. I was big. It was hard. But the naivety, that was my first pregnancy. And sometimes as a mom, like your first kid and your first pregnancy, you do a lot of stuff that the following pregnancies, you go, what was I thinking? That was insane. And then I've had a third kid now, and I'm just going like, oh, hell no. No, you're not kidding me. On a TV set doing 2 full stunt days, not to mention all of the stunt rehearsals. And I have tape. Actually, I should release some of that. I have some videotape of my stunt rehearsals, and I was like throwing my poor old pregnant body onto the ground, and you were getting strangled and things getting thrown at you. It was really intense. It's actually, do you know what? I think it's one of the most intense one-on-one battles we've had. Not one from Mo down at the bottom of the tower to you at the top of the tower. I mean, it's hard to watch anyway, but it was pretty intense from both of you. Well, all credit goes to, I had all the gals who were doing it with me were stunt actresses, and they were simply amazing. And it's incredible, because when I watched it back, I mean, I was like, holy crap, I'm just getting brutalized. But they were like holding me with kid gloves. They had this beautiful kind of like, they come out with me ferocity, but really they're holding me like this, And so anything that I was being thrown down against or thrown against the wall was me choosing to do how hard I wanted. And they just had their hands on me. So they were incredible. And then I had, for some of the moves that were just too dangerous, I had a brilliant gal called Aoife. Shout out to you. She's amazing. She did some of my double stunt work for that, but it was good. There was another scene that I remember doing with Linus, and I had to, it was when I find out that he's betrayed me, and I had to rush at his desk. And by that time I was 7 months pregnant. I had to rush at his desk and like slam into it with my belly, and like take all the things off of his desk and just scream at him with rage. And this is not cool. This is not cool. I was like, how dare you? Yeah, I was just full rage. And the babies were going nuts inside of me. They were just like, bang, 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 bang. I was going like, what the fuck are you doing up there? Like, you're stressing us out. My heart was going. So yeah, I'm not sure I would do that again. But I've just been thinking you were one of the only women on set, other than Catherine Winnick, who plays Lagertha, to be involved in quite a lot of the big battles, because Quentrith traveled on the boat with Ragnar and Rollo and the rest of the Vikings.
And then there was that was the whole week when we did the battle on the beach, and you were involved in all of that. I mean, what's it like to be in those scenes, into a very, very testosterone fueled, hundreds of stuntmen, stunt girls running around and smashing together, and you're right in the thick of it with your character who is unarmed and just kind of almost getting some kind of orgasmic kind of fun out of watching all these men decimate each other.
I didn't have to act, dude. Like, I truly didn't have to act. Like, I just fully let into losing my cool. I was not cool about being on there. I was way too